Hello, welcome to Trainz. So this stream will be an hour instead of 2, and I'll mostly be showing stuff that I've built, and then we'll see how long that takes. But that's the primary goal of this live stream. So the plan is to begin up here in the still unnamed big city, drive along the main line down to Benswood Junction, which is around here, then drive this little bit, which I have shown some of the scenery previously, but other scenery around here is new. Then we'll continue along down here all the way up to Mid-Switch, where we'll switch to another train and drive this bit and the beginning of a little branch. Then we'll go back to our main train and drive the rest of the main line as far as I've built it. So I hope you're okay with this plan, because that's what's happening. So, hello Kango. Let's see, do I want to go on the main line or on the... Yeah, I do want to go on the high-speed line for this. So I'll just need to switch that switch, and that should be it. I didn't hear the plan, and I don't know if I'm okay with it. Well, you're not going to be able to influence it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Hello, Code Monkey. So, as we get going, departing this as of yet unnamed big city, big station, the first thing around here that I've done is I've added a whole bunch of vegetation along some of the stretches that didn't have it, like here. I put hundreds of buildings next to the track, and I made a very low poly scrapbook brush asset and used that to fill in some more of the behind the scenes city area, which actually I made two. I made a dense version and a less dense version, which if you're driving along, or even if you zoom out a little bit, it actually looks pretty good. And then I dispersed some taller buildings around at intervals, so that you can actually see some more distant structures as you're going. Tickets? Sure, here you go. Shows Interrail Pass. Oh, hello, Wasted Triz. Welcome. Also, I've realized I'm speeding. Yeah, don't mind this bit over here, that's not finished yet. Anders Hove. Hello. That name sounds familiar, but I can't place it at the moment. Like, it sounds really familiar, but I can't place it at the moment, sorry. So, yeah. Yes, triangles. I'm just... Oh, right! From Discord! Ah, yes, of course. So, I also developed some techniques for filling in buildings along the tracks more quickly. I mean, this is old stuff here, but because it can look a little boring or unrealistic if the streets just parallel the tracks for ages. Like, if it's like this for a little bit, then that's fine, but occasionally you'll need something like this, where a street comes on in a weird angle, so that it actually looks like the city wasn't completely planned around how the tracks are. So here, for example, there's a little bit of a shopping street. We've got some shops there, some bus stops, and that comes in not even at a 90-degree angle, just a weird angle. And then this connects to that as well. And I made sure to have a little bit of a gap here so that you can actually see the shops as if you're going along this way. Yeah, it happened if the camera turned like this. You can see, oh, there's some commercial stuff over there. And over here, this is another thing that I've figured out works quite well, which is if you have a street that connects at a right angle, then having a street that kind of connects but arches onto that other street, or even does like a full 180-degree arch, can make things feel a lot better, because then if you happen to look down that way, it doesn't just look like big blocks, like a grid. I mean, we're not the Romans after all. Yes, they did grid cities way before the Americans did. I mean, it's not like the Americans took any inspiration in terms of architecture or city planning from the Romans. No, not at all. But yeah, so if you wanted to feel more organic, that's a nice little tip. Plus, it also gives you a little bit of distance to play with, because if you're driving along and you look like over the parking lot, you can see the buildings over there at odd angles to the way that the tracks are going. Oh, that shopping street is so Victoria. Yeah, here I did the same sort of thing, only that this one doesn't quite connect up in a to one that goes in a right angle, but close enough. So this is where the other line comes in, and from this point forward I've done the scenery on both sides until the canal, where there's another line underneath, and so I haven't done the scenery around those yet, because, well, that will the focus on those lines will be what it looks like when you're actually driving along those lines, not what it looks like from the main line. So yeah, this is actually quite a nice opportunity where you can see how well those scrapbook brushes can work if you work with them properly, because like you can see so many rooftops in the distance, and that looks pretty realistic. But then if you look a little bit higher, you can see it's just the same bunch, like the same bunch of buildings that are just drawn on here and varying rotations and distances. Like actually I can, if I quickly hop over here, you can see this is the scrapbook asset I used for the dense town stuff, and all of these assets have like a very low polygon count and draw call count and or LODs, like my assets. These ones have really good LODs. And then over here, this is the less dense version. And I know you can change density on the scrapbook asset, but because these are individual objects, if I just decrease the density in the settings, then those would all be placed with gaps between them. So I had to manually take groups, the groups of houses, and move them to have more gaps between them manually. But I think that it really works quite nicely on both sides of things. Like even just looking through here, those are the only manually placed buildings there. Right behind it is just the drawn-on stuff. And I'm really happy with how good this turned out to look. And there you can see the taller buildings really adding a lot in terms of the deliberate feeling of how this was built. Right, so now we're coming up on the canal. This station, by the way, I've called Fancy Dame Bridge, because it's on a bridge, and there maybe were some fancy dames around, who knows. Yeah, so this is where it gets a little bit more industrial. So if I pause here, yeah, this is what I said, where I haven't really done the scenery there yet, or along here, because I need to know what it's going to look like if you're down here driving along. Why isn't that track rendered in? I don't know what's going on there. What? That's Odd. I wonder why that's not loaded in. Is the station there? That's really weird. The passengers are there, so clearly the station's there, but that's apparently not loaded in. I'll quickly go over here to maybe unload that area and then go back. Nope, still not there. No, I did delete it because look, the passengers are still there, so clearly the actual tracks are there. It's been stolen for scrap. No! That's not a big deal. If I exit and enter, it's probably going to be there again. Or maybe it's on a layer that just happens to be turned off or something. Yeah, that might be it. Maybe. Hold on, let me quickly hop into Surveyor 2.0. Nope, all the layers are turned on. What's the matter here? I don't know what's caused this. Because look, this has the... It's like there's just no track attached to it. On the map I don't see a track there either, and the track's carried on further back this way. Huh. Maybe I did accidentally delete it. Because I was... I did have invisible tracks here to measure distances, but I didn't think that... I thought that I separated them before deleting them. Maybe I didn't. Not a big deal anyway. So, yeah, so this is where it gets a little bit more industrial. Recheck quickly. Chicago equals Rome 2.0 confirmed. Will these GWR 57s run on the route in session? Maybe. Maybe. Like, I would like to have some 57 sessions, but I'm not sure if I want this particular version of them. What have the Romans ever done for us? Yeah. Or will they be repainted? Maybe, I don't know. The aqueducts, yeah. There's also first grade Western versions of the 57 and even Virgin trains. The latter have Thunderbird's character names on them. Yeah, absolutely phenomenal work on this big city. Looks brilliant. Thank you. Oh, did you accidentally delete it? Maybe. It's been stolen for scrap. Maybe buried by a terrain? No. Or too low down? No. Anything crash while saving recently? No. It's actually been ages since Trainz last crashed. And yeah, it's actually been very stable, surprisingly enough. I guess I must have accidentally deleted that bit. Because, like, I did it in Surveyor 2.0, because in Surveyor 2.0, when you double-click a spline or a track, it selects the whole thing from junction to junction, and then you can delete with that. And I thought that I had deleted the specific connecting bit manually and then double-clicked and deleted the whole thing, but maybe I didn't. Hello, Slovak Eagle. Just a bit confused why this track disappeared, but I must have accidentally deleted it. Yeah. Good. So, then we continue along here, where, have I shown you this before? I think this is new. I'm pretty sure that this is all new. So I've got some scenes around here. I'm good. You? I'm good as well. So I did put loads of little scenes and things around here, which just makes it feel a lot more realistic when you actually go down to have a look at them. Also, I did discover that it can, or it does feel a lot more realistic if you what's the word I'm looking for? If you switch between having the houses run parallel between the, well, along the tracks like this, or if they run at right angles like over here, where yes, you've got a paralleling road, but the houses are actually facing the roads that are at right angles to it. If you switch between those two, it feels a lot more interesting. Why not use the SAM viaducts? You already used the bridges. Why not the whole set? I'm not sure what you mean, sorry. I'm not sure which specific assets you mean. Either I haven't found the assets, so I don't know of their existence, or I don't, or maybe maybe there was a different reason, but I don't specifically know which assets you mean. You have the FMA brick viaducts. Yeah, I don't know which specific assets you mean. Maybe I've just been able to find, I don't know if they have equivalents on both of them, and I don't know what the preference, what the reasons would be to use one over the other, if there are corresponding versions. I don't know, sorry. Right, so then you come under here, where I didn't do scenery over here yet, because that comes when I built this line, but I did fill in a bit this over here, and started to work on this kind of commuter branch that's gonna run down here and connect to other stuff back there. And I really like when buildings are like really close to elevated tracks like this. That just feels interesting. Got here, yeah, I'm right too. Finished little tileable hopper windows on my oh right, yeah. Nice. You have the FMA brick viaducts, the pale red bricks at the station you just passed. Class 7658 might be great assets to use sessions too. Yeah, maybe. You use the SAM viaducts on this flyover though. I'm confused as to what the point is of the difference. Like, I mean, I'm just confused, sorry. Like, I know I'm using these bridges over here that have this brownish, yellower color, and over here I'm using the red brick bridges, but I'm not really sure what the, like, is there a version of these red arch bridges that's like maybe high resolution, or like why would I want to use another version of the asset? I'm confused, sorry. In some parts of the world, trains literally run into and through skyscrapers. That sounds very interesting, but also doesn't sound like something that England is fancy enough for. I think it was just to match the colors. Oh, just wondering why. Because SAM has high quality textures and matching textures to the bridge you used and past the station over the road. Not saying it's bad, just wondering why you had a specific reason. Oh, oh right, yeah. I just liked so over here, I specifically wanted to use the red bricks, like the baked brick texture, because to me that feels more industrial. It looks more like the red bricks of like factory buildings, and like this, for example, it fits more with a Victorian like style of building. Like when you look at old bridges or old kind of elevated archway, like filled in archways like this, filled in viaducts, they tend to be more this color and it feels more industrial, which is why I use that. However, over here I pretty much had to use this asset because there really wasn't any other asset that fit. Let me ban that bot, there we go. So if there had been a brick version of this asset, I would have used that. But since this is the only one that I found that actually fit properly here, and by that I mean has enough space for trains to fit under, as well as space for like longboats to fit through, I had to kind of mix and match the sets. Not saying it's bad, just wondering if you had a specific reason. Yes, I did. Ah, I see. Yeah. Although I can go, did you have a look at the old boat assets in ETS2 yet? Did ya? Yeah, so you've got the old kind of industrial area back there, and then you've got the new sort of industrial area over here. Well, new-ish. Also, super elevation is missing on some parts and is kind of messed up on others. I'll have to do that in a pass at the end, as well as electrification. So, by the way, not all the lines will be electrified, but some of them will be. Kanga says, by the way, wasted tries, you can set a specific color of your username in the chat on the chat identity button, just on the left of the chat field. Currently your color is random, whatever it's displayed. Yeah. Not yet, sorry. Could you send the list on Discord so it doesn't get lost? I know Lisbon and old San Francisco had them. That would be appreciated. Just the ones you found. Also, the upcoming bit by Duckley here, I haven't reworked it yet. So at the moment, the junctions are still laid out in the way that really you can only travel across them at 25 miles an hour, which of course is not very realistic for a 4-track main line. That's the main exit from the big city. So I will rework those to allow for much higher speed to get through there. But I haven't done that yet. Yeah, it does look nice, the forest in the background. This is my first time on Twitch, and I have no idea. Yeah, that's fair. Shardice, this actually reminded me. Do you know of the brick and stone retaining walls by Seabar 3? I might know the assets if I looked at them, but the actual name doesn't sound familiar. But if you want to, feel free to send some KOIDs so I can have a look and check. So any more progress being made on Central Europe Mini, or is that out of your hands? I will send you the KODs and also some screenshots. The walls are full PBR as well. Ooh, nice. Thank you. Also, I did fix some of the elevation changes after the viaduct back there. Although I did that quite a while ago. But I don't think that I pointed it out before. I really like how this bit turned out. Yeah, so this was originally quite a steep downhill section, climbing down from the embankment for the viaduct. But then it pretty much immediately started climbing for the hill back there. So I decided to just have this be quite a gradual downhill and then back uphill over there, so it doesn't feel jarring. Love it as well. Looks so marshy. Marshy swampland. Or swampard, sorry. What is a swampard? Like a drunkard is a drunken... well, someone who's drunken. A drunkard is someone who's drunk. And a wizard is someone who is wise. Then what is a swampard? Send you some coyotes and screenies. Just a name. And that's safe to look at on stream, yeah? Also, we will briefly stop at Benswood Junction. So actually, I'm gonna speak a little bit. So Eagle, the message, yeah, you can look at it on stream. Okay, I will actually, let me have a look. I don't think that I knew of those. Tell you what, I'll quickly check if I don't think that I've got these. Actually, I've got 3 of them installed, but those might be from Central Europe Mini, so let me just download all of these. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I might as well download all of them. So, well, all of these ones. Just send the ones I had. Alright. Well, if I find a place to use them, and I don't have any in that selection that fit properly, then I'll have a look and see if I can find some other ones. Like from that, like in that group. There we go. Don't want to get too slow because we're still on the uphill climb, even though the station is just down there. We'll have a look at CE if I can find some other ones. If I can, what? Yeah, that's fair. They do not have arches though. Yeah. I mean, on some areas, I think those would be very useful to use. However, the filled-in arch design is quite characteristic of, like, Victorian elevated railways. So we'll just pull in here, then drive the other train up that line to meet us, and then we'll continue with this train. Is that... oh, that's not quite long enough. But that doesn't matter. So I will quickly fly down here. Don't want to spoil the stuff yet. So... yeah, we'll drive this train. And some of this was already built by the time of the last stream, but not all of it. And a lot of the scenery around it has been filled in after. So... let's get going. Eagle says, haha, no, CE Mini uses less than what is available. Ah, gotcha. I think these specific ones I sent you would work well at tunnel portals. They have 6 meter and 10 meter heights. Ah, interesting. Also, as far as CE Mini, the development is good and fast. Built 4 towns in 3 weeks. 4 towns? Didn't last time wasn't it 3 towns last time? Has an entire town been built since the last time I had inquired about this. Yes, and count got up since then. Nice. Glad it's going very well. Oh, and don't forget the fully functioning airport. Ooh. Oh, do you have invisible tracks for airplanes to fly around and land and things like that? If you say fully functioning. I do not have flying yet. I won't stop at the stations, by the way, because I do want to speed this up a little bit. The runway ends at a baseboard edge, so I cannot make the loop, I imagine. I suppose you could just put baseboards there and set the terrain to like negative, I don't know, 10 kilometer height or something like that, and then put the tracks on top of that if you don't want the actual terrain to be visible. So yeah, this now already looks a lot fuller than last time, I think. I think that exists fictional one. What? Oh, will you have the Lufthansa Concorde? Asks Kango. Also, I really like this bit where where it's got this really high embankment, and then you've got this bridge going underneath it, and it feels so tall with the trains going above it. And I also put some grasses and flowers up here so that it looks a little bit more overgrown than some of the main lines. I'll really check quickly, 1 second. Not yet, at least the runway starts in Germany and ends in Austria. The next station is Bensburg Junction. If you wish to alight at this stop, please make sure you're not in carriages G, H, I, or J. Only doors on carriages A to F will open. This is a Great Western Railway service to Dzz. You could take off and land in the same direction. I suppose. But because we don't have Austria yet, I cannot make them fly around. Oh, I see. Should I just maybe increase the game volume a bit? Already did that. This sentence is a hilarious sentence. I have concerns about the sighting of the previous signal. I'm assuming you mean this one? I mean, you can see it from here. This is the point where you can see it. Along here, and then into there. So, yeah. I mean, I know I could have it on this side of the bridge, up there maybe, and that would give it better sighting and might make it a little bit more realistic. But this way feels more fun to me. Plus it gives a little bit more space if you have like a tank engine or something in front with coaches along, since the platform is quite short. Eagle says, I could, but one plain line is enough on the route, and because I still have a lot to add, it is too early to think of a sightseeing plane loop. No, the runway is not long enough. Gotcha. Though you could still have them fly in a huge aerial loop overhead, perhaps, or a straight invisible track that's not connected to the airport in sessions. I will see. I like to keep things grounded in reality, but as I said, too early to think about this stuff. Well, there you go. Showdays. Oh, will Hypersway also get a water column? No, I don't think so. Yeah, that's fair. I just often get carried away by the tiny details like that. Yeah. Banner repeater maybe, affixed to the station roof. Also could reduce to be a 2 aspect, but that depends on what's ahead. Yeah. Yeah, I can probably reduce that to a 2 aspect one. I don't know, are there banner repeater? Actually, yeah, there are banner repeater assets that work in Trainz. There just aren't any directional ones. Right. And yeah, so the down here I think is filled in more than it previously was. I also like the view from this bridge, because in here it's quite closed in, and then as soon as you come out on the bridge, suddenly you get this open view of the valley down below and the town back there and all of this stuff. And the big hills this way, with a road like kind of... Actually, you can't really see that because of the compression probably. But there's a little road that comes up here, and that kind of serpentines its way up the hills and then goes through these woods and actually cuts across the other line with a bridge. So then we get to Lord Ben's diversion, which is just a little halt, which I will not be stopping at because in the interest of saving time. But again, you've got a great view, and also the Sorbmouth Bridge in the distance there, which you might not be able to see. And then we get to this fun little truss bridge with a waterfall, where you can see we're going through the spray of the waterfall there, which I'm really happy how this bit turned out. There's also a little road bridge up here. And this water actually goes down here, where most of it gets diverted this way, and then goes through this little hydroelectric power plant, and then the river continues on down here, and then exits over here under this line. And also the little road that connects to the station snakes its way past here, and then goes down to this little town. I'll rechat in a bit. And so then we enter this long kind of curve up here, where I really try this to feel a lot more kind of airy in terms of like having sheep grazing here and this overgrown like hedge wall and stuff like that. Oh, I didn't show you the entirety of the diversion thing, I've just remembered. I'll go back to that in a moment. So then, you come up here to the top platforms of Benswood Junction with a semaphore signal. Actually, I might have left this a little bit late. That's fine. So there will be a little road connection up here, so I've already got that. And look, there's a little old skip that's been left here from whenever there was work done up here or something. And yeah, so that connects up here. And this line will connect down to the big city back there again. Now if we quickly hop back to the diversion, a little bit of the water is allowed through depending on how much evaporation there is. into this little artificial lake where you can see there's this earthen dam here with this little road. Also there's a footpath that goes that way and also that way. And there is this, they've got this mansion here. This is probably Lord Ben's mansion or something like that. So when he built this diversion and made this artificial lake, there once was sort of a fishing shack here. They introduced some fish species in here, but that's not been used in a long time. So yeah, that's here. And then of course this goes down to London as well, but you've already seen London. I don't need to re-show you this. So now it's time to read chat. Eagle says, I've been occasionally posting some updates on trainz.de and some drive videos on YouTube. I will send you the screenshots from the newest areas I'm working on. Not posted them anywhere else yet, but you can have a look at them on stream if you want. Ooh, please do. Please do. Oh, here we go. Actually, I'll get that down and well, I'll make that a little bit larger so you can actually see. Ooh. That's a lot of detail in terms of parked trucks and trailers. Huh, that over here, that's similar to like the 3 trees station I made, sort of, only this looks like it was made with like with already existing assets. That's nice, at least from what I can see. Ah yes, the fun fair. Still haven't found a place for that quite yet, but I haven't forgotten it. Oh, that's nice. The retaining wall with the beams going across for support. I really like this design. That's quite a big graveyard over there on what looks like, is that cobblestones or something? Doesn't look like grass to me. I like how the road comes out of a tunnel over here. That also looks like a fun station to stop at. Does the line terminate there, or is that, no, that's a tunnel entrance. That looks like a fun station to stop at, especially if you don't know the route yet. One second. Yeah, okay. Very nice. Thank you for sharing. Let me just quickly double check that. Okay. Right. So, but it's such a diversion. Yeah, it really is. It really is. Paradise for the waterfall. You can use Maya and Mika's NBS Plus water effect asset for more sloshing. Oh, you mean like the sound? I mean, I actually quite like the drop off of those sound effects, because while I do like the volume being quite loud while you're on the waterfall, I don't really want you to hear it from this station, and it is quite close. Alright, Shadows. Oh, you could place those water spray objects along the Red Cliff coast as well on a stormy layer for stormy sessions. That could be quite good. Waterfall is amazing. Thank you. Just like around Dolijar. Also, are you still planning on including that Dartmoor inspired area on the map anywhere? Yes, depending on how it turns out. That I might add some of that from here going down that way. So I might have kind of from Benswood Junction down to around here, like this stretch, maybe. If it looks good. But I'll have to experiment with that. How many new assets have you made for this route, do you think? Actually, I can have a look. My content. So the UK doggy poo bin, that's 1, 2. Let's see. There's not an ad. Much. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 assets. And these will be uploaded to the DLS just before the route will be. The actual bins, these ones, are already on the DLS. So if you want a bin to put your dog poo in, then yeah, there you go. Right. I guess Lord Ben's mansion would be likely named after his surname. Yeah. Maybe not, who knows. Alright, the order. Sorry. Yeah, I already looked at the pictures. Südbergen Hauptbahnhof, Stibitz Hauptbahnhof, Heiligenhof Hauptbahnhof. Oh, the Holy One's Yard. Main station, interesting. Heilig means holy, and Heiligen means that of the holy ones, or just the holy ones. Südbergen, Bergen means mountains or like big hills sort of thing. Dreistein, interesting, that means 3 stone. S-Bahn. Bad Meisenberg, interesting. Meise is a bird, a small bird. So Stibitz and Heiligenhof are switched round. Nice. Cobblestone, yes. Oh, the last pick is so far unnamed station. Interesting. Thanks. Thank you for the kind words. No, genuinely, I love how it looks. It's great. Really makes me want to explore it and drive trains on it, which I think is the point. Meisenberg translates to English meaning tit mountain, tit as in the bird, yes. Next station is Niederburg, Südhohe. Screw your hands for naming it like that. What? What do you mean? Niederburg, Südhohe. I'm not sure what you mean. Niederburg means like lower castle. So, and Südhohe, I'm not sure what that would mean. Dreistein means 3 stone. The waterfall effect I talked about has no sound. It's visual only. Oh. Let me have a look at that then. Hold on. Yeah, this should give the passengers plenty of time to change between trains. Oh, I've already got that installed. Nice. Hey Shadows, you could take a look at how you made that Darkman's part area on your GWR Broadgate route. That wouldn't really help much. Because I've already got the image in my head of how I want it to look, but I'm not sure if I've got the assets for it. Yeah, I know which one. The one you started a couple years back. Not an ad. Brilliant. I repainted the black letter in green too. MVR obsolete. Yes, obviously, just the way the tags work. Yeah, because I've got the modified versions installed, not the ones that would be downloaded from the from the store. So just because it might be a bit easier to work with if I have the exported CDP files match the ones that I've got installed in Trainz. Boo! Hello, Vicky. Welcome. Südhöhe? I mean, Südhöhe means southern height. Niederburg, Südhöhe. Niederburg, South Plateau, basically. Now I need to figure out plateau. I mean, if you use Classic Surveyor, I hear there's a really good tool for that. So I'm gonna play something with my friend. Well, have fun. Yes. Okay, yes, I just don't know where to find those letters on my keyboard. Südhöhe. I mean, you can paste it in. You can, yeah, if you look for like German umlauts, and then you can just copy paste the letters. Right. So let's continue with this down here. My keyboard is in Slovak, and I have 3 keyboard packs on my Windows, English and German. Yeah. I mean, you can just search for it, like online. If you like, type in a search engine, German umlaut characters, and then just copy paste those. Right, now let's continue. Also, it'll be really fun to have a session, the train going along here, when you get that lovely view down this way, just with a train crossing up here. I could, but given how rarely I use it, it's easier just to be lazy. I mean, if you want to get the umlaut, but you don't want to put the letters in, then you would type an O after the letter. Yeah? Yeah. I think. Actually, I'm not sure which way around it goes, but I think it's that way around. I mean, the low viaduct, it might need some max headspace signs. Clearance thing, yeah. Also, I am pausing my French route as I need to actually figure out a story. I built something in a week, high on motivation, not thinking about what I actually want it to be. Yeah, I know that feeling, and that's how I started most of my early Trainz routes. Just having a really fun idea about using usually specific locomotives, and then building something like building a few kilometers of track, and then really running out of like a goal of where I want this to go, and then just getting kind of bored. Right, so we're now gonna drive to mid-switch, where we'll switch to another sprinter, and then drive a little bit of a branch that I've already got. Then we'll switch back to this one again and drive the rest of the main line that I have. I have a general idea of what I want, but this time I want to approach it better. Polaris was good, but it could be better, and I want that better now. I mean, I think you're gonna need a bit more patience. It's gonna take quite a while to figure all that out and to build it, so... I mean, I like the determination, and I like the need to improve, but I think you need a bit more patience if you want to work with Trainz. I hope you'll be able to think of something eventually. It is a great start. Also, Polaris will most likely come as freeware on Trainz Mobile, and Trainz is looking into bringing it over. Ah, nice. Yeah, there's some weird super elevation bits over here. Like on this curve on the right track, even though I've got the super elevation set, when you come from over here and you come this way, it like tilts the train the other way and then back to the middle before it goes on, even though it's got straight sections of track on either side of the curve. And I've just got both ends of the curve got with the super elevation, and I'm really not entirely sure why that is. I also don't want only 20 sessions this time round. I want to have a really good long story that is worth the money. Only 20 sessions. I mean, compare that to like a train simulator DLC, where you've got like... What is it usually? Like 3 sessions per loco? So if you've got like a route that has 2 locos, you've got like 6 sessions max, around there maybe. Although it varies, of course. But like that's the norm on DTG Train Sim, I think. Yep, Trainz is definitely something that requires patience. Oh, yes. Too true, mate. The story route could end up with 40 sessions if I do things properly. C-Mini can potentially end up with just 40 sessions for the passenger trains. Oh, hello, Marky. Welcome. 5 sessions? Yeah, around 6, I think. Yeah. Give or bake? Give or bake? Interesting turn on give or take. Right, so we're just coming up on mid-switch. 2 in fog, 2 in winter, 1 in rain, and you're forgetting rail fan scenarios everyone asked for. I mean... I think that like rail fan scenarios might work a bit better if you had like like a network with actual schedules that you can, like a URL to schedules where you can see what timetables the trains are running on, and then you can figure out where meets are going to happen and where all that sort of stuff. That might actually be fun to play around with. Load into one once, maybe twice, yeah. And if they weren't complete tat. Not really me, but I get that. That's a joke. Yeah, that's a great idea. And I do plan on making proper timetables for this route. And I've got some ideas about how to go about visualizing those for myself and figuring out where meets are going to end up and stuff like that. So welcome to Mid-Switch Station, which is totally not a deliberate tongue twister. This used to have a goods platform on the left. You can still see the tracks down there, and of course the water tower. But that's not been in use for many a year, and the junctions have been ripped out even if the actual tracks are still here. Which is also why the signal box is set back a bit more. So now we're going to continue with this train, which I know is on the wrong side of the tracks, but can't really do anything about that at the moment. Well, I guess I could, but I might as well. 1 second. Just put that there and then go back into driver. Oh, it's loading passengers, the reimmersed one. Yeah, mid-switch is down here, which is not 100% finished, but it's finished enough for the time being. Also, there's a hedge-separated walkway that you can get to and from the station if you're walking. Mid-switch. No. No, mid-switch. Like that, as in midge, as in the insects. Mid-switch. And there's like Ipswich without the T. So if you want to go to Midgeswich Station, then you've got to say Midgeswich Station. And imagine if you were locked into a car locomotive and could drive along the entire map's road network. So it'd be like real life, where you need to get to the most, to meet locations and not just fly or teleport over. Oh right, so you, hold on, were you car locomotive? You could drive along the entire map's road network. Oh, I see. Yeah, that could be fun. But then that's a whole lot of scenery that either that wouldn't be done, or that just would be wasted for most of it. Right, so here you enter this little woodland, and this is where we've just now crested the hill. From here on, it's pretty much all downhill. And then as you come out, you come onto a lovely viaduct, which is where I've put in the dam, which, Eagle, I believe you suggested, well, the last stream where I was over here. And yeah, it's another earthen dam, where this is like an open grazing area, a little bit like Darkmoor Exmoor or something like that. Like, I have several of these large open grazing areas. Yeah, you did, I'm pretty sure. So you've just got sheep everywhere, pretty much. And then, yeah, you've got this artificial lake with a power generating station, although at the moment the water is a little bit low, which is why this is a bit dry. That just goes over here into the river. And yeah, I do like how this looks with the train going above it. And then we enter this really long left-hand turn. There is a power line. There. And that just kind of goes off in this direction and then off the map. So here, yeah, this is a long left-hand curve, which again I use to, because in essence, this whole section of the map, this whole section is one big valley that you drive along. But I deliberately put in several of these long curves where the direction changes quite substantially, so that new scenery is getting revealed to you as you turn around the curve, so that it remains interesting. So we're gonna have to slow down soon, as we're gonna head off of the main line. So here is the signal box with the junction. Actually, I kind of missed that slowing down a bit. I'm gonna show you a little bit over here. Bramblecross Junction. And here I decided to put down these rock assets along here because I didn't want to put a fence there, but I thought it looked a little dangerous to have cars parked here with just the tracks right there without any sort of barrier. So even though this is locked off, I decided to put those stones there as a bit of a safety measure. I'm not sure how realistic that would be, but it looks fitting, and I like how that looks. Right, so now you come off of the main line with an old semaphore guarding the junction that way. And now the descent begins into the valley. I'll re-chat in a bit. Also, I put on mileposts for the stuff that I've already built. So right, so then you get into this little kind of wooded strip with these overhanging trees, which I really like how this turned out. A little cottage there. I know there's a really ridiculously old asset with a low-res texture, but it just fits so well as you're going along here. And it doesn't even, it's not that obvious that it's a low-res texture when you're driving along. So I put this here to kind of give a little bit more purpose to this road, and also to give you a little bit of a better view of the countryside over here and the town in the distance, which you probably didn't notice until I just pointed it out. Also, I found this really nice kind of PBR parallax texture for the embankment here that looks kind of rocky, kind of moss covered, a little bit grassy, and it just fits so well. I was really happy with that. Right, so then you're descending down through this kind of leaf tunnel almost. Which is fairly steep, and this is a negative 2.5% grade at the moment. And then as you come out here, you see the little village of Bramblecross down there, and the main line crossing the valley with a big truss bridge. Of course, some field access over there with a little underpass. And this, I've left this way too late to stop. Kind of forgot about that. Because this station is on quite the downhill grade. There's still negative 2.5, so stopping here going downhill is quite treacherous. Also, there are some old rusty rails and things that have been left, some old sleepers as well. So this is Bramblecross. You've got the station up here with some stair access, and you've got a little bus station down here. And then you've got the old church there, which is right next to the tracks, which is quite a nice feeling when you're driving around here. But also when you're crossing the bridge and you look down, I like that I like this small church asset because it makes you feel as if you're even higher up when you're crossing over the top of the viaduct looking down. So then you've got several houses, of course, as the town kind of crosses underneath the viaduct with footpath connections as well. And if you follow the roads all the way down here, you've got a little bridge over the river that then curves up this way, past a little culvert. You can see all the reeds and stuff. And this road actually follows the hills up and connects up to another road up here. But also, I found a use for this old water wheel mill asset, which is actually animated. I've just got it paused at the moment. And I used the water trough spline, which you're supposed to put between the tracks so that steam engines can scoop up water. I used that as the kind of flow, I guess, aqueduct for the water wheel, because this is actually flat, and I painstakingly drew on the water. This is the old water, not the VFX layer, to have a grade, like a consistent uphill grade, so that actually the water gets scooped up here as the river drops away. And then you've got a tiny little gas station out here for the people of the village, which is close enough that you can easily get there, but not so close that it's an eyesore, especially when I put trees around there. And of course, by the station there are some shops around here, an old cart with a barrel, and of course 2 separate pubs with some bunting and things around there. And also, I made another one of these, which is supposed to look like an old yew tree, because these these ancient yew trees that tend to be in churchyards are like these really thick trunks. And so placing a whole bunch of this tree asset really gives that effect that I wanted. And also there's a singular grave here that's kind of being pushed over by the roots of the tree. So that's a nice little detail there. And so this line will then just continue along here, and then it'll continue along this valley for a little bit more until it gets to another little village up there somewhere. So, and that's going to be kind of the beginning and ending point of the diesel line, because the diesel line is going to carry along the electrified main line until it gets to Sorbmouth, where it then branches off here and goes along the Lunton branch, which I did show on a previous stream, but I'm just kind of flying along it now for you. And that'll end here. So yeah, let's see if this train will, yeah, it'll stop before it derails. Good. So I'll read chat, and then we'll continue with the mainline train. Actually, that might be a nice thumbnail, or something like this. Is that a good thumbnail? Ooh, or maybe something like that. If I zoom in. That might be a nice thumbnail. Ooh, or maybe this. Maybe this, maybe that. Who knows? I'll read chat in a moment, don't worry. Maybe something like that. Anyway, right, chat. Oh, there's quite a bit of chat. Where was I? Oh, right, I found it. Looks great, thank you. 1963 VW Beetle drivable. Yeah, but the thing is, with hedges that are next to the tracks, I put really great care in their placement and positioning so that it all looks as good as it can. But then as soon as it gets a little bit further away, like over here, I've just kind of drawn this on so that it looks good from afar. But if I did make sessions where you drive a vehicle along here, then I'd have to put in a whole lot more effort to bring this up to the quality of the rail scenery, which is just not feasible. Mid-switch. Ip-switch plus midges equals mid-switch. Yes, sounds delightful. All downhill from here, folks. Did I? Yes. The sheep on the road. OMG, that's so realistic. I don't remember. I have a terrible memory. Looks good, though. I do remember that as well. Someone did. Yeah. It's got power lines, yes. There was one. I am jealous of how nice your British countryside looks. Well, first of all, thank you. But also, I mean, I live here. So I live in a place where like a 15-minute bus ride, plus maybe a little bit of walking, gets you somewhere where the scenery looks pretty much just like this. So copying from what I see all the time pretty much isn't that difficult compared to scenery that I don't live at. Plus I've also been trying to make British routes since pretty much I first got Trainz, so yeah. Right. Marky says, I've been building and testing a session most of the day. Wow, is it done? Spad? Yeah, Spad, because I don't have signals along here because this isn't finished. Yes, just need to sort the thumbnails later. Oh, that's from what you've been posting screenshots of, I assume. Will class 66. Blark, bother that red signal, Sprinter driver. Alright, Shadows, you didn't change the config on the 150 for the marker lights to be on. Yeah, I didn't. I just quickly placed it before the stream. Notice that too. You should add the white marker lights back to your 4652. I don't know. You can use the change destination sign rule and command to set custom destinations as well. Yes. And that is something that I do want to add to my train as well, although I might need some pointers as to how to do that. Yeah, that is a great feature. St. Donahue's Church. Oh, that's an unusual church. It is. Man, I love this. I want to live here. Yeah. I mean, you've got the beautiful countryside, you've got all of the charms of living in a small village, but you've also got a direct train connection that can get you into the heart of the city in like half an hour. So, yeah, absolutely brilliant. I love how the footpaths go around the huge bridge support and how the huge bridge dwarfs the church from above. Yeah. Yeah, and I also specifically chose which like bush assets to place in certain positions. Like in previous routes, and this was also the case on most of the MVR, I had a select group of as like tree and bush assets that I used pretty much everywhere. And while that does give a great consistency and makes it feel like it's actually the same place that you're driving through, like geographically speaking, I have found that if you add a little bit more variety into places, that can make it feel a lot more realistic. Like, for example, these coniferous trees here and these bushes underneath aren't used on most of the map. And along here, I've got a variety of different bush assets that I've used, which are different to the ones that you have while driving up on this stretch here with some rowan trees along there, which does make it feel more realistic because, well, there are bits that aren't the same, which it's difficult. I found it tricky to find a balance between having enough the same so that it feels as though it's the same geographical area that you're going through, but having enough variety so that it feels as realistic as possible. But once you found that balance, it adds a lot. Plus, these two cows are kind of sheltering beside these three cows. Yeah, this one's kind of snuggled up to the other one. Yeah. Also, I did place the bush splines in front of the old bush faces that this building had. Oh, water trough spline. Oh gosh, that's creative. Aw. When passing the one bell, be sure to ring your loco bell only one time, not more. Yes. If your loco even has a bell. It just looks believable. It just does. Good. Would be nice. Though unfortunately most Steam locomotives in the UK do not feature bells. Yeah. Brilliant thumbnail, but change time of day. I don't know. Could repaint those ones. Yeah. Would fit nicely. Sure, I say after the routes release, maybe you could upgrade some of the road scenery to a higher quality standard, adding grass splines, road signage, etc. So rail, fanning, car, bus sessions could be added in an update. I mean, theoretically, yes, but in reality, once I'm finished, especially with such a time-consuming project, I would want to do a new project, just from a creative standpoint, but also from a monetary standpoint. There's a car alarm going on outside, by the way. Maybe you just thought it'd be nice. I'd be happy to help out with that if you did plan on doing that. Yeah, but it's also a question of performance, because the more scenery I add to the roads, the more of a performance hit it's going to take. Will there be sheep on the meadow around the steep tunnel portal above Bramblecross over here? Maybe. I haven't entirely figured this out yet. Like, I still need to add, like, barriers around. Is that my viaduct pier? Says Marky. No. No, totally not. I don't know what could give you that idea. But yes, they are. And they're great assets. They've like, in fact, these pillars, these support assets are what inspired me to have a big viaduct crossing over here in the first place, because I was looking for some other assets and I randomly found this bridge pillar. That was when I was building Sorbmuth over here, and I just found that and I thought, oh, that's such a nice asset. It would be so good to have a big viaduct, like a big trestle bridge with this. And thought, where could I put that? And I thought, well, actually, if I have the river crossing underneath here, maybe instead of having a traditional arched viaduct, having a trestle bridge like that might make it even more interesting, especially since I've already got an arched viaduct here, for example. And so, yeah. Oh, will you have those blackberry bushes too? Probably. Though I think I've lost them again. Would fit the name, Bramblecross. I said maybe I could update road detail. I know, not you. Well, if I said you, then I probably meant you as in Kango. Couple road signs wouldn't add too much. Yeah, true. Maybe a few grass blinds. Not too much. Work needed, I think. I think. But that's also performance. Emotional support bridge support. Emotional viaduct support pillars. Oh ye. They're on my Shalebrook railway routes. Both old and new. Nice. So, now let's drive the last leg of journey on this. Actually, I need to switch the switch. A blackberry. Right, let's go. Also, I'm so happy that someone made these kissing gate assets for trains, because they are so typical for the UK for footpaths. When a footpath, because in the UK, a lot of public footpaths just cross across like private farmland, where the farmers gave permission for those public footpaths to go across, because a lot of those footpaths are like really, really, really old, and so you've just got these footpaths going across fields that have like cows and sheep on them and stuff, or sometimes also crop fields. And then you have these, like sometimes you've got kissing gates like these, other times you've got like stiles where you've got like wooden bar fence like this, and then you've got like two boards across at like 90-degree angles to each other for you to climb across and over. And there's also a metal variant of the kissing gate, which I think I used over here. No, I didn't. I used it somewhere. Not entirely sure where. I think maybe over here. Nope. I'm not entirely sure where. But I did use the metal one. Also, this feels so nice driving in, like in the cab like this, with these big windows. I'm really happy with how this is turning out. Less happy about the motorbike outside. Yes, there they are. You just passed it, or maybe not. Imagine if there was a kissing gate asset with an animated person that just walks up to it, goes through properly, opening and closing it, and then continuing with variants of the person putting around a curve and things. Maybe? It would be fun, but also if they always do that. I think it's enough to just place people assets on there in session layers. Imagine making that asset in one live stream and finishing the the stream after uploading it to the DLS. That would be fun. Neat. Also, I found that it, at least for UK routes, it's really helpful to have multiple types of field boundary. Like here, having a dry stone wall with these 3 asset types placed along it, or just the hedge mix that I've got over there, or hedge mix with barbed wire inside, or hedge mix with the dry stone wall inside, or like a whole bunch of different ones to add variety. Animated people assets are pretty rare on the DLS. Yeah, I mean there are some of them, but yeah, they are pretty rare. Also here I've been a little bit tricky with with my tree placement, because this big tree on the left there, as you're coming up to it, you might be able to see there's a signal there that you only really see once you're at this point, which is just a nice little trick. Shh, don't tell anybody. Also sheep. Right, so now from the main line, as you come around the curve now, you can see some of the smoke from the chimneys from Bramblecross. And then as you look underneath, you see Bramblecross as you're passing it from above, which is just such a nice view. And then immediately you go in the tunnel. Especially once interacting with gates. Never seen that before. That's why you need a co-pilot. For them to look past branches. Hahaha. Yeah. Oh, rail tour sessions above Bramblecross would be breathtaking. Right, and I also have a stretch of 100 mph line from exiting the tunnel here. I didn't want a lot of it, but I did have some of it. So now as you exit here, the valley opens up a lot more and becomes a whole lot more, well, a whole lot less steep. On the left there's a little farmstead with a couple houses and a barn, just to make the scenery a little bit more interesting. And then as you come around this little curve, on the right is revealed to you the ocean. Once again, specifically a bay with little rock island here with a lighthouse on top, which looks quite nice. Here I'm actually gonna pause it for, well, in a second. And then have another little look around and show you some stuff. There we go. Actually, there we go. So, firstly, this little road that comes from over the hills here goes past this little farmstead area, continues along here, then kind of vanishes onto this field. But if you follow kind of the direction that it's pointing, then there's another little road where it gets picked up again and kind of goes off into the woods quite steeply, which is a nice little thing to find maybe. But also, yeah, I also used another little different ground texture here to kind of indicate that some of the rainwater gathers there and gets washed down that way. So it's a little bit wetter than the rest. And over here in this bay, well, first of all, there's an old goods platform here in an old warehouse that was used once upon a time probably to transport fish or something like that, because down here is a little quay. And of course, a bay like this, a natural harbor, would be great for like fishing boats or stuff like that, because they'd be quite safe from safe-ish from storms. However, that's not really used that much anymore. Like the station isn't at all, but for fishing. Over here, you've got, actually let's quickly have another look over here. I decided to put some of these dry grass assets here, and this is another one of those assets that I haven't really used anywhere else on the route, pretty much. But it just fits here and makes this area feel unique. There's also these rusty tracks that kind of pop in and out of the ballast a little bit as they go along, and they do turn towards the main line, but the junctions themselves have been removed. The old signal box is here, by the way. At the moment, I'm calling this Kelpie Bay, but the name may change. Yeah. So down here, you've got a little pub, which seems to be out in the middle of nowhere. So you'd think, well, how are they going to get business for this? But like the lore in my head is that this was originally built back when this was used quite heavily by fishermen, because like the fishermen be out all day catching fish, and then when they'd get back to the harbor, they'd go here and relax for a bit before heading home. Or maybe if it's the weather turns, then they've got some time to spend here while they're waiting for the weather to improve and that sort of thing. So that's when it was originally built. But the reason why it's still in business now, by the way, there's a little horse stable area here with a little cherry tree. But the reason why they're still in business now is because of this caravan park that's here, this Holiday Makers Caravan Park. And there are some bus stops here, and a lovely enclosed waiting room, because when this gets stormy, then you might get quite a bit of spray coming up if the waves get all the way up to this kind of grade there, this embankment. Also, this is on stilts for the similar reasons. Then if you follow up here, there's a little farm cottage there, little country cottage. But one thing that I really like how it turned out is this road that carries on there, because it gets quite steep. It goes through here with quite a high ceiling there with the railway above, but then when you get underneath it, it continues uphill and then gets into this quite tall and broad cutting really, where it also curves around. And there's a little church up here. There's supposed to be a little village, but you only really see the church in a little window when you get across. But the main reason why I like it is if you imagine like you're walking along here, and then just as you're coming over this little hill there, you see the ocean revealed to you, and then you're kind of walking along this cutting there, going quite steeply downhill, and then you see the railway, and then you've got this beautiful view of the bay with maybe a train rushing across. Then as you're getting down, you're actually on level with the trains, and then you pass underneath it with this much space above you, and until the ocean's revealed to you once again. So that was mostly by accident, but I really, really like how that turned out. So also, over here, this rock, there are two reasons for this, with the lighthouse on top. The first reason is, in universe, of course, sometimes when the land gets eroded a little bit, keeps standing, and that's why it's here. But the reason why I thought of this is that on the map over here is where I want the big port town to be, like where container traffic originates from. And so then I thought, hold on, if I make this big bay here, why wouldn't they build the big like container port into this bay? Like this would be useful, like from the age of sail all the way up to now, having this shelter for the ships, especially when you think of like old sailing ships like schooners and stuff like that. So then I wanted something to justify that. And so then I thought, well, maybe if there's this big treacherous rock here, and maybe underwater there might be even more peaks that just don't peak up above the water to see. And back in the age of sail, they wouldn't have had lighthouses yet. Well, not many anyway. And so this would be a really treacherous harbor. And so that's why it wasn't prioritized for lots of shipping back then. So they built the big harbor over there. And then when the lighthouses got invented and this became safer, they already had all the infrastructure down there. So there really was no point in building this up anymore, beyond some fishing boats and stuff. So that's kind of my explanation for why I've got that big rock there. But it is also realistic. Like, you do get stuff like this where you've got the land's end there, and then you've just got big rocky islands with steep cliffs off the nose. So yeah. Right, so I'll read chat now, and then we'll continue. Just imagine a P2 thundering over that. With a big rake of Mark 1s behind. Broad Valley. I love this. I am once again envious of what can be created. In Trainz. Yeah, if you put the time and dedication into learn the tools, then you can make some very beautiful things in Trainz. Marky says, I've got a whole pick list of boats for harbour locations. That is very nice. Would you mind sharing that as a CDP file, perhaps, on Discord? I would like to have a look at those, if possible. Kelpie Bay siding. Bay needs more kelp assets. I mean, yeah, but you don't really see it anyway. Also, a kelpie is very different than kelp. Lost cane siding. Yep, kelpie. The horse. Kelpless Bay. And in Cornwall, there are lots of bays, harbours, estuaries for boats. Yeah. Hey, Mr. Snipes, yes. It's been a while. How are you? There are a lot of other caravans on the DLS, though a bit larger. Yeah, I know. I've downloaded a lot of those, but I mainly chose these ones because of their low poly count. Because a lot of the other ones are in the thousands of triangles. So I'm really trying to, on this route, I'm really trying to keep performance as good as possible, because there's so much of it in close proximity as a network. And so I just chose the lowest poly ones that I could find that fit. At least for stuff that's a bit further away from the tracks. I've been right, Kango. Yourself? Maybe good to introduce some variety to the caravans, that's true. Maybe. But, I mean, I think the point is gotten across sufficiently with this. Mr. Snipes, that's good to hear. I've been quite well too. Tripping over cabbage is a bad omen in some parts of this land. Sure. That's so immersive. Nice. Oh yeah, farmers be right sore if you did that. Yeah. Hey, Shardice, you should add 1 or 2 odd sailing ships to the ocean in sessions too. Yes. Odd or old, not odd. Haha, that'd be fun. I think there were plenty of lighthouses in the Age of Sail, but the logic still holds. Well, in some of it, yes. But if you look, like, when I said the Age of Sail, I meant as in, like Portsmouth, I think, got really big all the way back in medieval times. Like, when was the date of the Spanish Armada? Hold on. Yeah, well, the Spanish Armada, that whole thing, was back in the 16th century. And if you look back at when... Yeah, like that is... what's the actual... Does the Age of Sail actually have a specific definition for its starting and ending years? Hold on. Oh yeah, mid-16th to... well, mid-16th or mid-15th to the late 19th centuries. So yeah, to the mid-1400s up to the mid-1800s. So, and then when's the I mean, of course, lighthouses were a thing back in ancient times. Like, you've got the lighthouse of Alexandria or stuff like that. But, like, in Europe, like the Eddystone Lighthouse, when was that built? Yeah, like, that was built in the late 17th century. Actually, here we go. Yeah, so the first Eddystone Lighthouse, which by the way was built in Plymouth, which looked like this, and it got destroyed quite quickly. The lighthouse was also the first recorded instance of an offshore lighthouse, and that was built in the late 17th century. So I think that for a lighthouse to be built up on this rock, on those cliffs, I think my reasoning is valid. Yeah, but the logic still holds. Crunchy Bottoms Harbour, they used to call it on account of all the rocks. Haha, yeah. Like St. Michael's Mound in Cornwall. Oh, let's have a look. Ooh. Is that... Oh, this! Oh, yeah. Is this the one... No, this isn't the one with that had a causeway, is it? No, it is! It is! Oh, yes. Very nice. Very nice. There's also one in France. I've been to both. Ooh. Which do you prefer? The Cornish one! Of course it's the Cornish one. We need to visit that one too one day. Not sure if they charge for access to the mount, but yeah. You can walk there at low tide. There is a walkway to it, which gets covered over when the tide starts coming in. Though there is a harbour there with boat goes to and from at high tide. I saw it. I read a Jeff Jordan comic inspired by that quite a few years ago. It started when the first ore broke and ended when the combustion engine and prop shaft were invented. Hold on. What about steamers? What about steam engines? About a long road built on a causeway that gets covered by ocean and at high tide. Cool historical notes. I agree. Valid. Nice. So, also there is I mean, this is technically an Easter egg, and it will be on the list of Easter eggs without the location, but you get a little sneak peek. So, there's this little isolated beach here that you can only really get to by boat. So here, there's a little rowing boat, and there's a couple sunbathing here. So, yeah, that's a little Easter egg. Got quite the nice view from here, I have to say. Just a little Easter egg. Right, let's continue. Also, on this sole stretch, it's completely straight. I did have a little bit more up and down curves instead of left and right curves. And then as it comes into this big open cutting here, we'll get to what I haven't built yet, really. Ooh, that's a bit too slow. But you can already see like the cranes of where the harbour will go. And actually I don't really have to drive down there to show you. But yeah, so it'll go down here. We'll have a curve here, a junction here probably. So I'm still in the middle of figuring out the layout for this town. This is heavily work in progress still, and I'm still planning all this. But at the moment, I'm thinking to have a junction here on the grade, where one side goes down here, maybe curves around a little bit to have a little bit more of a shallow descent down into the harbor, where containers are loaded. And then over here, actually I'll go back the other way. The main line that continues down, have a junction here, where this just goes off the map going straight, so that I can have some traffic entering and exiting the map here. And to the right, curves around and ends at a terminus station that is right near the ocean, but we've got to reverse out or yeah. Maybe I'll add a turntable here or something. And then this side of the harbor would also be nice if it connected in this way, so that trains, when they load, don't have to run, like they can run around, but they don't have to, so that they come in here, load, and then carry on. So I think that would be nice, but also I haven't forgotten about the idea of having like a scenery high-speed line somewhere. So I'm not sure if I want to have that here. Like I might have like that here crossing like that, or maybe something like that. Or I might just have it up here somewhere, like at this big terminus in the main city. I might just have that there. So that is still in my mind. So yeah, and that's what I'm currently working on here. Where was I? Alright, sunbathing on the pebbles. Yeah, I mean it's not as comfortable as sand, but I mean these are quite large, admittedly, but that's just because of the texture. They're actually supposed to be quite small. Youch. Those rocks look painful to sunbathe on. Someone link a KOD for a beach towel. That is very uncomfortable. Bloody hilarious. A GWR themed beach towel. It makes me want to make an inappropriate joke. It just fits though. Oh yes, please sign me up. They should sell them on the snacks trolleys. Yeah. Inspired by Plymouth this town. Not really. This is supposed, like, I was looking more at Southampton, but like it's more my own sort of thing. Right. Yeah. Can't wait to see what this look like. Yeah, Southampton. Gotcha. Maybe a station like Bournemouth's? Yeah, maybe. Because like, while I like the idea of having the station here and terminating there with the ocean behind it, it wouldn't be that realistic for, like, if I want to have through traffic, like big expresses or sleeper trains or something that start here in the big city and they're supposed to go like just miles and miles and miles, like off map, like to London or something, or up to Scotland, then having them run along the main line is fine. And they, like, session-wise, they need to terminate here because the map won't continue beyond this down there. But then if the station is here, then you'd have to go in here and end the session there, and then it won't really feel like the train's going to continue unless you ran around the train or reversed the train up and then continued back there and then ended the session like that. But that just seems cumbersome. So then I thought maybe have two stations, like have one station here which is like the port / seaside station. And then over here, maybe have a somewhat, well, maybe have another station over here by the junction. And so the thing that goes down to the seaside is maybe just a little single track branch that's like quite an old branch, which is just a small little station down here, but that the main larger station is maybe here where the junction is, like just before the junction or something like that. But I'm still looking at things. Consider Green Rock, historic industrial harbour town on a hillside with multiple railways plus tunnels. There's, though a lot is gone now. Actually, if you go to railmapsonline.com, up here, railmapsonline.com, and then you can go and view the layouts of, there's for America and there's also for Britain. But this is for Britain. We can look at historic railways and also modern railways. If you look at historic stuff, where is the search? I thought there was a search over here. Places. Oh, here we go. Green Rock. Actually, is this in... Actually, maybe features. I can't find... Oh, Green Ock. Oh, Greenock. Greenock. Oh, up there. Oh, I see it. Yeah, also you can set it to satellite map as well. You've got topographic maps as well, so open topographical, so you can actually see the contour lines of the land. But yeah, this is what you were talking about. And it's really detailed with like where tunnels were and stuff. And then if you click on the line, it shows you what railways there were, and it links to Wikipedia articles about the railways where you can read more about them and stuff. And it even, if you have features enabled, it should also show you like tunnels and stations and stuff like that. Yeah. So, and it'll color code them. So the blue line here, the blue stuff, is a different, that's the Caledonian, whereas the other one was a different railway. So that's a really useful feature if you want to reproduce some real stuff. Yeah, I mean, this is a good shout to look at for reference. Yeah. And if you look at layers, like they've got industries as well that you can turn on and off, like industrial railway. So you can see that actually over here at Greenock or whatever you call it, with industries turned on, there's a little yellow thing there, which apparently Royal Navy Torpedo Factory, which apparently had a little like industrial or maybe narrow gauge or some little rail thing over here, apparently. Oh, here you go. There you can turn the labels for stations and features on. Oh, there you go. Now you can see all the labels. So there was so you can see that over here there was a goods station. And sometimes these labels have more information as well, but most of the time, of course, they don't. But yeah, and there was a tunnel there and all this. You've got lots of information. You can also turn on fun and miniature railways, which of course here there weren't any. Oh, but look, there was a historic tramway here as well, apparently. Look, the purple, if you turn that on. The Greenock and Port Glasgow Tramway Company. You can see that went all the way along this main road from the harbour here, all the way along, and ended over here. So yeah, but that is definitely a good suggestion. Again, this is railmaponline.com. So let me read chat. Oh, I never heard of that until now. You can have a running end of session. I know. But I want there to be a final station that you stop at over here for those kind of sessions. Could have it like Portsmouth Harbour Station. I did look at Portsmouth Harbour Station as well. But yeah, if you look at all the stuff here, like even just turning that all off, like just the railways, like this is what the rail network looked like with historic railways turned on, and then if you switch to modern railways, like if you turn those off, then it looks like that. So just looking down here, just look at that difference. Look at how many railway connections there were over here, and then that. Yeah. But yeah, Portsmouth. Is that over here? No, that's... Ah, there we go. Portsmouth Harbour. Oh, that's weird. It tilts the angle, but it's not 3D. Is it? Oh, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that looks interesting. Oh, there was also a tramway here. Oh, look! Look at that! Such an extensive tram network they had in Portsmouth, apparently. Look at that. Portsmouth Corporation Transport, with a Wikipedia article. Ooh. Huh. Anyway, I've gone for 2 hours now anyway, even though I only wanted to go for 1. Sure, to say, hey, you could have street running on the seaside branch, like the Weymouth Quay tramway. Yeah, that thought had crossed my mind. Ran until 1999, I think. Oh, I usually check NLS old maps, but that's useful. NLS old maps? What is that? Greenock, yeah. Wow, whoa. Pier jetty thingy. That's so neat and interesting. Would be fun spending an entire stream looking at historical rail layouts throughout the UK. Exploring rail history. Portsmouth may also serve as inspiration, possibly. Yeah, I did look at Portsmouth, but I couldn't really find much in terms of like container transloading onto trains here. So like there's the military side of things over here, but then in terms of cargo onto trains, like I found this where there's onto like road, but there aren't really any trains around here. But then if you look a little bit further up the coast and you go to Southampton, there you can, hold on. There you've got these container transloading, well that's not container. Oh, look at that. What is that? What are those train assets? No, not assets. What are these trains there? What is that? Anyway, yeah, you've got container transloading over here. And this is also where you've got the train, the railway tracks leading right up to it with the big cranes to transload containers and stuff. So you've got all this sort of equipment here. You've even got container trains sitting on the tracks right here. Also a big scrapyard thing, apparently. But yeah, that's kind of what I was looking to base this off of. Anyway. For proper container transfer, look at Hamburg. Yeah, I'm not looking at something that huge. Yeah, Southampton. No, not HS2. Fits Mortar monorail. Yeah, but what would that be for? Hyperloop. Ha. Heathrow monorail, bizarre. NLS, National Library of Scotland. They have a side-by-side map view of a selection of historical ordnance survey maps. Oh, yes. I did find those already myself. Those are very interesting. However, this is a bit more easy to find specific things because you can overlay it on, like with the labels and stuff. But yeah, those are great. Those are great. Anyway, I will figure it out. Well, please let me know once you have figured it out about those cars. Oh, I heard of that a while back. Anyway, we've gone for 2 hours instead of the one that I wanted to. But I think that gives you a very nice showcase of what I've been up to since the last stream on the map. And yeah, I'm really happy with the progress that I'm making. And it's turning out very nicely. Oh yes, side-by-side view, yeah. Anyway, good night, and I suppose also bye-bye. So, bye-bye everybody. Thank you all for coming. It was lovely having you all in chat. Love the rock bathing, yeah. Stone bathing, double bathing. Sunbathing. They bathe in the sun. Anyway, bye-bye.